and hello Dan.
Hello, Michael.
Welcome to Off the Lips. Dagmar is the second HR person that we've had speak.
Oh, really? Cool.
Yes,
Okay, awesome.
But you'll be happy to know that the first HR person spoke about quantum physics, not
Oh,
HR.
wow. Holy
so
shit.
You're the first one that's actually going to speak about HR,
Okay.
which is exciting. How to keep your talent. I'm excited because I've realized that that's the most important thing for me. Makes my life way easier.
You have the right
If
people.
we can keep our talent. And I think it also works for the talent, how to be kept. Very good to know. So, super relevant, and it's quite cool that we've got somebody from a national or international company even in JB to share that experience, because we don't have that too often.
Thank you.
Thanks for sweeping in, Dagmar.
Thank you so much for having me. So I think before I'm going to talk about giving you some practical tips, I'm going to actually tell you what HR people do. Because I think there's a really big misconception around the role of HR in an organization and the function that we perform. Most people it's like an iceberg. You think we hire and fire, but there's a whole lot of stuff underneath the water, which is actually what we do. And HR has evolved massively from the good old personnel managers in the past, where we used to be evil HR lady. People used to threaten you with, I'm going to take you to HR. If you don't comply, HR is going to discipline you. And luckily that has changed. Leaders now need to discipline their own people. Leaders are now tasked to actually have those hard conversations with the people that they lead, because they own them, they lead them, and they should have those conversations. The role of HR has evolved into much more of a coaching, mentoring, support function. And there's obviously a large legislative piece, but that legislation is really just foundational. The core things I focus on as the head of HR is really strategy. On our P&L, we have three big expenses: property, people, and product. I work for a company called Cotton On. We're in 17 countries. We sell t-shirts. We're famous for denim. We're really cool. We're loved by our brands. So it's a really great place to do HR in, because people want to come and work for us. So starting on how you keep your talent, make sure that your business is somewhere people want to work, right? So have a compelling vision and mission. So that's, I think, really important. The strategy I built, I wanted to make it really simple. I want to make it really understandable. I want to make so that leaders in my business can really appreciate what they need to do. And I built it on three pillars. The first pillar is inspire, the second pillar is care, and the third pillar is grow. So inspire, care, grow is really my three strategic pillars. And I think it's really easy to remember, it's really easy to think about, and really easy to understand. So I'm going to start with what it means to inspire people. And when I started my career as a young leader, my leadership coach at the time was heading up Rand Merchant Bank. He was a really senior guy, and his opening statement to me was, Dagmar, you have the people you deserve. So the reality of that statement is that if you are a bad leader, you're going to have bad people. So the start of any journey for any leader is a very hard look in the mirror. And I think if you want to become a really great leader and develop those skills, having a leadership coach or having a mentor is really, really, really important, because you can't inspire if you don't understand who you are and what you're good and what you're bad at. So that's the start of Inspire. If you can jump to that next slide. So under Inspire, I've got 5 key elements: purpose, lead, trust, reward, and learning. At Cotton On, we're very clear about our purpose. We are a purpose-led business. Our mission statement is to make a positive difference in people's lives. And we do that in everything that we do, whether we're HRing for the day, whether we're building a school in eThekwini of 85 million rand, which is what we've just done, or if we're packing a box for a customer. We want to make a difference. We want to spread joy. And I think within any of your organizations or roles, understanding purpose and finding purpose is really important. Knowing why you're doing what you're doing, and knowing that the organization you work for is committed to a greater good. The second part of Inspire is lead. It's how we lead. It's showing up as a leader. It's role modeling. This is underpinned by your company's culture and values. So it's really important to have a set of behaviors that emulate what your organization stands for. We call it the COG way or the Cotton On way, and it's everywhere in our building, and it tells you how do you show up at Cotton On to be a good human being, and what is acceptable and what isn't acceptable in behavior. So really leading is about role modeling that behavior every day and embedding that. Trust. This is a really, really complex topic because it is about psychological safety in the workplace. And that is where I can bring my authentic self to work. I can be who I am at work. And I can trust that my leader will respect that and not hold it against me. It doesn't matter what my feelings are or how I show up for the day. And that's a really hard thing to crack in an organization, and it takes work and time and energy. Reward, none of us are going to work for free. None of us are going to work for less than we're worth, or we shouldn't. I will spend some time on what our reward structure looks like, so you can understand what the benefits are that we as a retailer offer our team. So we offer a really strong basic salary. I match it against market. So I do an external bench every year when I do increases, and we pay about 25 to 80% above market, depending on what role. We offer medical aid, we offer pension, we have a bonus system, we offer 13th checks, and then we have very random, wonderful reward moments in our organization where every leader has 10 reward moments in their back pocket. And if I'm in a store and I see somebody doing something really amazing, I'm able to on the spot reward that person. And we make a big fuss about it. That we have an internal Instagram page, we make videos, we celebrate it, there's big noise, lots of singing. So we really celebrate when people go above and beyond. So reward isn't just about what's in your bank account at the end of the month, even though that's really, really, really important. If you do not pay your people well, I cannot help you, they will leave you. It's the starting point. But thanking people for the work that they do and recognizing things that are above and beyond is really, really important to bring joy and energy and love and commitment. And then learning. When we, every 6 months we do something really big globally. It's an engagement survey, and we ask people to fill in about 50 questions, and we check how people are feeling about working for the organization. And learning is consistently the area that comes out as the place that we need to focus our attention more on. People who are learning, people who feel that there's investment in them, people who are growing are inspired, they're engaged, and they're happy. So as a leader, it's really important to, number one, have those career conversations with your team, understand their career pathway, and understand the learning that complements them. You can't just throw learning at anybody. I might not have an interest in health and safety, and you make me do all the health and safety learning modules, I probably will not be the happiest employee. So you've got to tailor make it for the individual. So that's a little bit about the Inspire piece. Does anybody have any questions about Inspire? Nobody. Cool. The next piece is care, and again, I'm not talking about sexual harassment in this case. I'm talking about different kind of care. It's something we also deal with. But in this case, it's more about what does care look like in an organization. Ooh, see, voice should be voice. It's important that people have a voice in an organization, that people feel that they can talk about things that are wrong, that are right, without repercussions, without feeling that they're going to get victimized because they critiqued or raised something or spoke up about something. If you are a leader of a team or a future leader of a team, it's really important that you girdle your loins and really human up to be able to handle criticism, because it is a constant part of life when you're a leader. It's the hardest part about being a leader because you're never perfect and you're going to get criticism until the day you die. It's just how it is. But allowing people to speak up and taking action is really important. Balance. Care in terms of balance is that it's about work-life balance, it's about workload balance. So human beings need to have the freedom to navigate work to cover all the areas of your life. And if I look around this room in J-Bay, balance is probably why you're here. Right? Balance is why you chose to come here, because the 65-hour days, the 2 hours in traffic on the Joburg highway, the boss looking over your shoulder, the inability to take a surf when the swell is right at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, these things hampered your balance. Now, this is really great for you guys, but I work in Midrand at a distribution center with people who have 8 to 5 jobs. I have to look at balance in a slightly different way. And the way we do it is we've got good leave days, so people get more than the allocated basic conditions of employment leave. We're not particularly strict about it. We allow people to go on sabbaticals. We allow people to have hybrid working models where possible. So it's obviously not possible if you're my store manager to work from home, but where possible, we allow some hybrid work. And it really is about being creative and flexible around what's possible and what isn't possible. So good logic. In my world, where there's 2,000 employees, I obviously have to back that up with some policy, because there needs to be equity in the decisions I make. So I can't be seen to favor X above Y. I need to have good reasons for the decisions I make. Develop is a little bit different from learning, because develop is the leader's active involvement in your career. It's the leader's active involvement in feedback. It's the leader's active involvement in making sure that the areas that you need to develop in are getting the attention that they need. I'm a fan of strength-based development, and I always use this analogy. I am probably never going to be an Olympic tennis player or play Wimbledon, but I could probably be a really good HR practitioner. So I'm not going to spend 8 hours on the tennis court hoping that I'm going to become a tennis star. It's highly unlikely, but I could potentially be really great at HR, so I'm going to invest my growth in there. So when you deal with people, understand their strengths, make peace with some of those weaknesses, and really focus on how you can harness that. Because to try and get good at something that you're never going to be good at is soul-destroying. So avoid it. Well-being, we've got a very holistic well-being program that we run. We look at financial, mental, and physical well-being. So we've got gyms and trainers and healthy food and all of those things. We have psychologists, coaches, mentors, and external support available to every employee and everybody in their household. So if it's accessible to your children, your wife, and yourself. So because we know that when your wife isn't happy, or your husband isn't happy, or your child is struggling, that's probably going to impact you at work. So we have a very holistic view around mental health. And then we have really good financial well-being programs where we teach our youngsters. Our average age in my business is 24 years old. So we have a very hectic financial literacy program. I have a really good partnership with a broker, and he helps me guide people on their pension fund saving journey and their house saving journey, and what medical aid is best for them and their family. How do I use those funds optimally for where I am in my life? We've just recently partnered with another company called Pay Me Now. They're an advanced salary access company. It's started by Brian Habana. It's really cool. So we've given those teams access to that, and that's really helped us as much as it has helped them, because mid-month lots of our guys go, I'm out of money, I can't pay for transport. When your life is cash driven, this helps them cover some of those things. And then there is always the emergency fund, where we do offer company loans to our teams who are in really big trouble. Recently we had one of our team she went through a particularly messy divorce. She needed 100,000 Rand to get out of it. She can only pay back 4,000 Rand a month. We issued her that loan. She pays us back over 3 years, no interest. But she's valuable. She's great at what she does. She impacts a huge part of our business, and that 100,000 Rand really is a huge investment for her, but very little for us, because the return we get from her is worth 20 million times more than that. So if you can enable your team's happiness through some smart inventions like that, that's really great. And then relationships. I go to work, and I go to work happily because I genuinely care and love the people that are in my space. Many of the people I work with, I've worked with for 20 or more years. I've literally seen their children go from toddlers to university students, and there is deep love and respect in those relationships. And cultivating collaborative, healthy relationships in the workspace is probably one of the greatest care initiatives that you can do. And one of the biggest reasons people don't leave organizations is because they love the people they work with, and it's a really big thing. The next one is grow. Can go to the next one. So under grow, there are 5 pillars: opportunities, goals, career, feedback, and inclusivity. Opportunities, every person that I work with wants to reach their full potential, and opportunities go with that. So we fill about 400 to 600 vacancies a year, and I fill 92% of those with internal talent. How do I do that? I have a really robust understanding of my talent. I have a really robust talent framework. I know exactly who's ready for the next step, and we utilize that to promote our internal talent and give them the opportunities that they need. Only 5% is external, and that 5% is really limited to our outlying areas where my talent pipeline has failed me. So giving opportunities first and foremost to your internal people is really important, but second to that is preparing your people for those opportunities is equally important. Understanding people's goals and aligning your business to those goals is really important. So we've done some special things for people. We've had some people who are doing weird and wonderful things and have goals outside of our organization, and we've actually made some adjustments in our business to allow those people to reach some of those goals. So flexibility in your organization is key, and obviously if somebody wants to be a doctor, that's not going to work for me because I work in retail. There's not going to be any value, but obviously if there's a relationship where I can partner with my UK business or my Singapore business or my New Zealand business or my Australian business to make that goal a reality, we make that happen. Career, like we call it zigzag in our business. I think that's the easiest way to talk to this. In our business, a promotion isn't everything. For us, a lateral move is as celebrated as an upward move. So in our organization, you could very easily be an assistant store manager in a 5 million turnover store, and we'll laterally move you into an assistant store manager role for a 10 million rand store before you become the store manager of a 5 million rand store. So we effectively zigzag people through that pipeline, and we have equal amounts of celebration for lateral promotions as we do for upward promotions. So we've given it equal value, equal voice, equal recognition, so people still feel really great about those lateral career lattice moves to get forward. Interesting about Gen Z, they're the most active people on LinkedIn. They're the people who are very comfortable to actually take a step back, to take a step forward. So for them, the traditional career ladder is completely thrown out. It's not about the next promotion, the next job title. For them, it's much more about fulfillment, purpose, and getting to their end goal. And they're actually very savvy. And I find my young Gen Zs very challenging, but also very wonderful, because they're teaching me how to HR better, and how to be more agile, and how to be more creative, and how to actually listen to what they want and what they need. And I'm really enjoying them. I find that I think I can look at my own career and criticize my own stupid preconceived ideas of what a career should be, and if I could do time over, I'd probably do it like a Gen Z did it. I probably would be much more fulfilled and a much better rounded individual. So do not throw out the generation just because they do it differently, because I do think they do it better. Feedback is really important. I get a lot of complaints from my leaders going, these Gen Zs, they want feedback constantly. You tell them to go fetch a box out the car. When they've done it, they want you to tell them they did a great job at it. Yes, that's how they are. They seek recognition. They seek that you acknowledge them. They seek that you thank them. I think it's not particularly hard. I've got a whole team of Gen Zs that I lead, and I get an immense amount out of them. In fact, I can't think of a better bunch of humans to work with. And for me, that little bit of investment and time to thank, to acknowledge, to feedback consistently. So I pretty much feedback at every connection with my team. So whether I walk past you, or you're in my office, or I have a formal meeting with you, every single engagement is a feedback engagement. And it's habit. You become really good at it if you practice it. So leaders just need to become better at practicing that engagement and having a bit of a memory going, hey, yesterday I heard you on a call with a client. I think you did a really excellent job. I know that guy, he's really difficult. I just wanted to tell you, good on you. And I do that a lot because my eyes and ears are open, and I observe, and I make sure that I close those loops at every moment in time. Inclusivity, we work in fashion. There's every single gender you can imagine. There's every pronoun you can imagine. There is boys and girls clothes, girls and boys clothes, a mixture. There is pink hair, there's tattoos, there's face tattoos, there's every color. To make that work, to really make everybody feel like they can do this and be this, is an incredibly hard job. And we did an enormous job around diversity and inclusivity. We worked with a company called Cohesion Collective. They're an external partner, and they took our whole leadership team through an intense program of first understanding our biases, understanding how we think, understanding how we speak, understanding how what we say can potentially be offensive to others. And we really went on a re-education program around the world that we're navigating in. From there, we rolled that program out to every single person in the organization, and we're not done. It's still a work in progress, but it's something we're really, really passionate about, because I can't think of anything worse than waking up in the morning and coming to work and you can't be who you were born to be. I think that must be an incredibly awful experience. So tolerance, kindness is really big for us. We recently partnered with Lady Gaga. She's got something called the Born This Way Foundation. And she's launched, we've just committed $5 million to her foundation. We're the single biggest retailer we made the biggest mental health investment of any corporate in the world. Okay, so we are really big on mental well-being and we stand behind it. Every single person in our organization completed the Born This Way Be There certificate. It's free. If you jump on her site and you go to the certificate, any young person can do it. It's a really great tool. It teaches you not only how to support people who are going through difficulty, but also how to support yourself, both as a supporter of somebody and to look after your own mental well-being. So if you feel you need it, jump on. If you have young teenagers, young kids, it's a really great thing for them to do as well. And that's me. That's my whole presentation. Are there any questions? Look, it's never perfect. So I've just completed our engagement survey. Our team have just given me some really hard feedback. And last week I spoke to my leader and I did have a cry. You know, because the feedback is really disarming. And you go to work as the head of HR every day, you try and make a real difference. And sometimes that feedback from your people is hard, right? So we go through it, we deal with the feedback, we digest it, and then we go back to the drawing board and we look at where we're failing. And I'll tell you where I'm failing. I don't have to hide it. I know where my opportunities are. And the big opportunities for us are around actual management. So there's a difference between leading and managing, and there's a difference between being an executive and being a store manager. And the biggest gap in my organization is that I haven't capacitated my store managers, my regional managers, and my assistant store managers to be good managers. And that is basically the nuts and bolts of it is that we've created really great retailers. They understand their KPIs, their sales, their wages, housekeeping, the greeting model, the wow at the lease line, all of that they really understand and they drive it really fantastically, but they don't check in on how their people are doing. They're missing the people in the way they're doing things. So for me, the next 6 months is taking a step back, going, okay, we've thrown the baby out with the bathwater. I don't know if you know, but it's really tough in retail. It's hard to make money. Our EBITDA is under pressure. Our P&L is under pressure. And when that happens, those KPIs really become the biggest noise, the biggest voice. And it's right, it should be, but not at the cost of relationships, not at the cost of people. So I lost a lot of ground there, and I need to go back and make the people in my organizations feel like they're valuable. That's the one place where I have some work to do. Diagnostically, that's a big red light for me. There's some work still to do on belonging, and it's actually not the guys who know what they are. So we've got good engagement from guys that identify as male, good as female, good as non-binary or LGBTQ. It's the guys that say, I'm not prepared to disclose. That group is very disengaged. There's obviously a problem somewhere there with their manager in that particular environment has done something or said something where now they're suddenly hesitant to be who they want to be. So there's that group, and I need to go back and look at what's going on there. So there's lots. It's an ever-changing environment. My business changes, my people change, and I spend a lot of time under the hood of this car, understanding how this engine works, and really tweaking and adjusting, and owning it, owning when things go wrong, going, I'm the head of HR, this is my fault, I need to go back and fix it. It's like anything, it's like any business. I am responsible for ensuring that I have a return of investment from a human capital perspective, and that's through productivity, and unhappy people aren't productive. The more unhappy people I have in my organization, the lower my ROI is. So that engagement is really a big measure of how good am I doing my job. Yeah, so our organization, I refer to as an FLC, it's a funny little company, and we are very much a people-focused business. We like connecting. They're not very pro-remote work. We have, I think globally, out of 17,000 people, about 4 remote workers. So, yeah, it's not really a big conversation with us. We do, however, for those 4 really critical people, have some really key interventions. And those interventions are much more linked to connection and the right types of connections. And so we have made provision for flight tickets for them to come to core key events, like our retail conferences or leadership strategy updates, so that they do come in at critical spaces, so that those relationships with their peers are strong enough to manage that, but also that they can go back to wherever they are with the right voice and the right message and the right understanding of what's going on. Our biggest challenge with remote work is because we have such a unique corporate culture, and it's so embedded in our organization that inducting new people remotely into who we are is really difficult from far away. So if we do grow that, we will probably ask a remote worker to come for a 3 to 4 month period, spend really good time, connect, build those relationships, and then let it go, because we do feel that those water cooler conversations are actually really valuable, and they do drive innovation, and they do drive thought, and they do drive different solutions. And often in my job, I would stand and make 500 photocopies for a learning session that I'm doing for my store team, and I'd be standing next to a visual merchandiser who I haven't seen in a while, and I'll chat to them about what I'm doing, and she'd have some incredible insight. She'd go, you know what, I was in a store recently and I saw this, blah, 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 and I think you should do this. And I go, you are a bloody genius. You actually nailed it. So those conversations I find incredibly valuable. COVID almost killed me because I'm the worst hybrid far away worker. I love being in the office with people. I'm famous for my hugs. People literally, I promise you, people literally come to my office and go, I'm just here for that hug. They come, they hug me, and they're on their way. I'm also famous for the 5-minute coffee and my graphics, so I have a very good strategic brain. People will come with fairly large problems from a strategic perspective all over the business, and they'll go, help me solve this problem, and I'll draw them a mind map, and I'll go, okay, bud, here's what you do. A, B, C, puck, 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 puck. Millions of times I have to rip pages out of my notebook and give it to people because they're like, I want your scribbles, please. And those things don't happen when you can't draw a picture for somebody when they're far away. So I have an immense amount of respect for people who are able to reach their full potential in this environment because I don't think I can. So remote work, I think, would be very hard for me. So good on you. I am for 1 week. Yeah. But I had FOMO today, so I spoke to my team this morning, and there was a big birthday tea, and there's cake and joy, and so I spoke to my team afterwards, and they're all eating chocolate cake while they're on a call with me, and I'm like, this sucks. Why I can't have cake? And I love singing Happy Birthday. When I joined Cotton On 8 years ago, I joined them in October, and our retail conference was also in October. I went for my induction to Australia for 2 weeks, and when I landed, my leader at the time went, oh, by the way, you're the MC for our conference tomorrow. Tomorrow. I'm like, what do you mean? Do I just do like there's the toilets, I'm like, yeah, I can do that. He's like, no, you need to do panel discussions, you need to lead. I was like, okay, where's the notes, the scripts? No, they're not finished with it yet. So it arrived 11 o'clock in my mailbox that evening for me to do 8 hours on stage the next day. It was also our 10-year birthday, so it was not small, 2,000 people, huge. And there was a moment where I stood on stage and there was a set change behind me, but they were too slow. So I didn't have enough words for them to move the bloody couches so I can get the next people on. And then there would have been like 3 minutes of dead silence. And I was like, what do I do? And I remembered that Naomi, one of our planning managers, had her birthday that day. So I went, hey, Naomi, I just want to say congratulations, you're sharing a birthday with our company. And I sang happy birthday like Marilyn Monroe to 2,000 people, and was captured on film. And every time I go to Australia, our CEO ensures that me singing happy birthday is played somewhere in the building. So that human connection, that happy birthday moment, that being together, I find it's really a great joy. Yeah. Any other questions?
Yeah. Considerate of the time, I think we'll probably take one last one. I mean, that was quite a good moment to end off on as well.
Thank you.
And I think if I could have renamed this talk, I would have taken something from your speech, which was how to HR better.
How to HR better. Yeah, how to HR better.
Are you going to be around for?
I'm here today, I'm here tomorrow. So if you have any questions, if you want to chat around how do you set up some people processes, or how do you contractually navigate the world of employment, or some legislative challenges that you might have, because legislation is really tough in this country, please find me. I'm in the office. I'm happy to help.
Cool.
Thank you for your time. Thank you.